What in the world is happening to California? Michael Snyder reports. It's often been said that as California goes, so goes the nation. If that is actually true, we're all in a very big trouble. Once upon a time, California was a spectacularly beautiful state with a booming economy. In fact, decades ago, I very seriously considered moving there, he says. But now the California dream has become the California nightmare, and there is no turning back. The state is relentlessly plagued by crime, homelessness, drugs, other extremely severe social problems, and in recent years, the number of people moving out of the state has greatly exceeded the number of people moving into the state, and many of those that are leaving are relocating to red states such as Florida. California lost 117,552 people between January 1st, 2021 and January 1st, 2022, according to the State Department of Finance, bringing its population back to where it was in the year 2016. In 2022, Florida saw the biggest rush of new residents migrating from predominantly blue states with steep taxes, with about 319,000 Americans making the move there, according to data from the National Association of Realtors. That amounts to a population increase of nearly 2%, well above the 0.4% national growth rate recorded in the United States between July 2021 and July 2022. If I was living in California, I would want to leave too. At this point, things are so bad that even the rich and famous are fleeing the state. In the past few years, a slew of Hollywood stars have ditched California and moved their families elsewhere in the US and across the world amid the increase in taxes and high crime rates in the Golden State. Superman actor Dean Cain became the latest Hollywood star to flee California as he joined the likes of Rod Stewart, Mark Wahlberg, and more, turning their back on Tinseltown of Hollywood. A few days ago, Newsweek ran an editorial by a California resident named Rick Campbell that served as a police officer in the state for more than a decade. In that editorial, Campbell tells us that he simply does not have the words, quote, to describe the horrors I saw, end quote, in his line of work. There aren't words to describe the horrors I saw, he said, and yet, in my opinion, civil rights advocates continue to stand in the way of reform. So here I am in the 21st century California, no longer able to take my little ones exploring natural areas as I did as a kid right here in Oceanside. All of the natural areas I roamed here as a child, are now filled with drug addicts and in tents. Our hillsides have become plagued with environmental destruction from human waste and trash and violence perpetrated by the inhabitants of the camps on each other. Just like so many others, Campbell places most of the blame on the politicians in Sacramento. And the truth is that the politicians know that things have gotten really bad. Even Governor Gavin Newsom is publicly admitting that the homelessness crisis in his state is a disgrace. Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom has admitted that California's homelessness crisis is a disgrace, but tried to blame Republicans for creating the situation. The Golden State is facing an opioid-fueled vagrancy epidemic, he said, with cities like San Francisco and San Diego besieged with encampments and businesses shutting up shop. Newsom was grilled on the subject by Fox News host Sean Hannity after the latest show, a blow to San Francisco's downtown as Westfield Shopping making mortgage payments on its massive mall due to crime and tanking sales. In virtually every large city, there are homeless people sleeping all over the place. Open-air drug markets operate freely, crime completely out of control. Earlier today, I came across a story about one ice cream shop in San Francisco that was actually burglarized twice in a single morning. An ice cream shop in San Francisco reportedly burglarized twice in one morning this month as crime in the Bay Area spirals out of control. The shocking series of events happened during the early hours of June 2nd in Bayview neighborhood of Fog City. And when they exited the shop, they reportedly left the door wide open, enabling another suspect to enter the business hours later and help himself to food and merchandise. Now, hordes of businesses are fleeing San Francisco, and this has made the city the epicenter of commercial real estate crisis. I could spend a lot of time talking about crime and drugs, but let me shift gears and talk about the law-abiding citizens in the state. These days, if you take your kids to a parade in California, they're likely to get a whole lot more than you bargained for. On Twitter, feminist outlet The Redux shared one graphic video from a parade where it was not, of course, proper for children to view. And the journalist who shared the video from the event with the outlet said there were thousands of people lined in the streets, children were present. This was the site of California, what California has become. Sadly, instead of working to improve conditions on the state, the politicians in Sacramento just continue to come up with even more self-destructive laws. For example, if a newly proposed bill becomes law, any parent then refused to affirm a child's chosen gender identity would be guilty of child abuse. A recently amended California bill would add affirming the sexual transition of a child to a state standard for parental responsibility and child welfare, making any parent who does not affirm transgenderism for their child guilty of abuse under California state law. AB 957 passed California State Assembly May 3rd, but a co-sponsor amended it after hours in California State Senate on June 6. Assembly member Lori Wilson, Democrat from Houston City, wrote the bill and introduced it February 14. State Senator Scott Wiener, Democrat of San Francisco, co-sponsored it. Wilson's child identifies as transgender. Another bill would actually make shoplifting in the state even easier than it is now. Shoplifting in California may get a lot easier after the state Senate passed a controversial bill on May 31st that would make it illegal for the store employee to confront thieves. In other words, let them come in and take what they want. SB 553, authored by Democrat Senator David Cortez, San Jose, requires employees to maintain violent incident logs, provide active shooter and shoplifter training, and to discard policies requiring workers to confront suspected active shoplifters, the Epoch Times reports. Amazingly, this is what California voters must want, because they keep sending the same politicians back to Sacramento over and over again. America is falling and California is leading the way. That is such a shame because no other state is blessed with so much natural beauty. California should be one of the greatest places to live in the entire planet, but instead the entire state has been transformed into a hellhole. Unfortunately, the entire country is going down the same exact path, and so let us hope that America will wake up while there is still time to do so. This is by Michael Snyder. He says about the author, my name is Michael, and my brand new book entitled End Times is now available on Amazon. In addition to my new book, I've written 6 other books that are available on Amazon, including 7-Year Apocalypse, The Lost Prophecies of the Future of America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters, commissions earned. When you purchase any of these books, you help to support the work that I'm doing. And one way that you can really help is by sending copies as gifts to family and friends. Time is short and I need help getting these warnings into the hands of as many people as possible. I have also started a brand new Substack newsletter, and I encourage you to subscribe so that you won't miss any of the latest updates. I have published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and the most important news. And the articles that I publish on those sites are republished on dozens of other prominent websites all over the globe. I always freely and happily allow others to republish my articles on their own websites, but I also ask that they include this about the author section with each article. The material contained in this article is for general information purposes only, and readers should consult licensed professionals before making any legal, business, financial, or health decisions. I encourage you to follow me on social media, Facebook and Twitter, and any way that you can share these articles with others is definitely great help. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, I strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. This is on End of the American Dream by Michael Snyder. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.